Live. All right, here we are live, guys. Welcome to the show. We're gonna have a new intro here, guys, for you. Welcome to the Prison City Podcast. It's gonna be a great show here tonight, and let's kick this thing, right?
I mean, I understand there's no good segue from what he just said.
Just be professional. Text me back whenever I message you. Show me your tits.
Once again, there it goes.
This disease or that disease or aliens coming down and taking over.
No shit.
I got hot milk in my area wanting to bang.
Sexual experience.
You don't know Pat well enough. I can see how someone might be like, fuck this guy. Why is he saying that to me?
Oh no, she's out.
Gee, what the fuck?
But we are certainly not back on track.
No, you guys were acting like you couldn't hear a word I was saying.
He told me I shouldn't park in a handicapped spot, and that was his response.
Oh, then I think maybe I can't with you, man. You can't tell me that you're all pissed at someone when you hit him with that stuff.
And this all happened in 10 minutes? No wonder she got offended.
Did you just yes and that shit? Yes and?
They're so fucking worthless.
Welcome to the Prison City Podcast. When the bars go up, you're officially locked in.
And we are live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Everybody, I am on a trip currently out east. It's been a crazy couple days here. A lot of stuff going on. Visiting my kids out here in Pittsburgh, so I am live here from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Hold up here in an Airbnb here tonight. It's pretty late, so this is going to be a 5-minute episode probably, hopefully. So I can go to bed and actually get some fucking sleep. So I didn't sleep at all last night. We're routing now, Montana now. If you're going to Pittsburgh, you now have to route through Dallas, Texas for some reason. No idea why that is. Completely random. So routed through Dallas last night. Got up early this morning. Just got back to my Airbnb and went to my kids' Little League games. It was just crazy past 24 hours or so. But said, fuck it, gotta get the Prison City Podcast going again this week, and just gotta keep it going, man. And we got some great topics to talk about tonight. We got gas prices, inflation, Congress, UFOs, NBA finals, Major League Baseball, all kinds of shit. So with that said, we'll lead off our first leadoff hitter, Mahomes. Welcome to the show.
Hey, man. I'm excited to see you. I'm glad that is the most random possible route to get to Pittsburgh. I don't know what that's about, but I'm excited to hear, did you get in any fights with parents at the Little League games? Because that's what Little League's all about.
It certainly is. It didn't quite happen, but we actually had a lightning storm actually ended the game today, actually.
No. Yeah?
Yeah. They said, basically if the NFL is not man enough to do games during lightning, then Little League Baseball can't do it either.
I mean, I don't know how these kids are supposed to prove their toughness and that they really want to keep playing, but whatever. I guess, safety first.
All right. And Kelly, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, yep. I noticed from the intro that my facial hair changes every single week, and I no longer have a beard, as you can all see, so I am freshly shaven, and I am single and ready to mingle. Just don't tell my wife.
All right, and Matt, welcome aboard, sir. How are you doing tonight?
Good here, Pat. Glad you're doing well in Pittsburgh. Ready to talk about some fucking gas prices and maybe some of our Seattle trips. We have a couple fun stories, actually. Never mind.
You guys were out in Seattle there. Had a lot of fun going to the basement. I think, Matt, you said the other day, after I saw the Texas Rangers game last night, and I'm going to see fucking the Pirates on Sunday, that's going to be 6 stadiums in 12 days that we've hit as a family pretty much.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you Cutlers ever work?
Do the Cutlers ever work? Apparently Mahomes has an answer as he just muted himself in the show.
Well, it's good to be back. I'm excited to talk about one of the 8 topics we have on the slab tonight. But the biggest topic is Jim Tilley not showing up to rehearsal here in Deer Lodge.
Breaking news: Jim Tilley, long time. He's a background guest occasionally on this podcast. He's in a show called Shawshank Redemption that Matt's directing for Cover Brothers Theater this summer, opening here in a couple weeks. And yeah, he was playing wiffle ball with you guys, and suddenly he just didn't show up.
Well, yeah, it was a close game, between the Reds right there and the Padres. And Tilly was on the Padres with Janel, and it was a wild game. We went into extra innings, and then Tilly threw 2 pitches. One was a base hit. The second one was a home run. So he was pretty upset about that, but I don't think that has anything to do with rehearsal. I honestly think he didn't think he was needed at rehearsal, even though I told him 5 times that he was needed.
Yeah, I don't think we ever said no, don't show up. Because I don't know. I was talking to Kai earlier. I was like, man, I'm just sick of telling these grown ass men, like, hey, you need to show up and all this shit. And it's like, Jesus criminy. It's like, it gets old after a while.
Yeah, well, just imagine.
Like, well, fucking read the chat group.
It's just, and then you imagine like Glengarry Glenn Ross last year, and I was directed that. I needed 5 fucking people. That's it, and I couldn't even get 5 people to show up.
Well,
Guys, yeah.
I was gonna say, well, it's not the people that are there all the time that have all the lines that are fucking up the show. It's the person that has like 4 lines, that fucks up. It's like, Jesus.
It's like,
Yeah, it is. I mean, it is what it is, but I don't get how it's complicated. If you commit to something, then show up and do it. It's just like anything, professional sports or, ballet or theater or whatever. The more you practice, the better you get. And like Matt said, the people that jump on stage and don't give a shit about rehearsals or don't really take them seriously, they're the ones that fuck up on stage. And then they're like, well, how did we get here? How did I fuck up all my lines? Well, because 1, you're not seasoned, and 2, you don't care until there's an audience out there.
so Mahomes is joining back. Back in. Kelly just talking about like how actors they miss rehearsals. Like, well, how did I get there? I don't want to know. How do I get there? And I was like, that kind of reminds me of a segue to Joe Biden and the gas prices right now. So I'll tell. So Mahomes alludes to some Texas stuff. Texas is fucking nuts if you go out and shit. Like, people there are just fucking, it's crazy. So I was at the Texas Rangers baseball game last night, and it's the only stadium I've ever been in where it's like, I'll just get like, you'll get your large beer, whatever. Yeah, you want a shot of whiskey with that? I'll pour you a shot of whiskey with that. Like, usually they don't try to get people wasted at a baseball game because things go south. Wouldn't you say, Mahomes?
Yeah, typically that's not what they're trying to do, but I guess, they're just trying to show you some of that hospitality they're famous for down there.
Yeah.
Everything's bigger in Texas, man.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Including the hangovers.
Texas Rangers Stadium, there are 2 things that were weird about it that stood out to me. Number 1, because the heat in the old Ranger Stadium was so fucking bad, they have a roof for the Ranger Stadium to close when it's hot. So, like, it's closed, like, all the time because of the heat, which I never knew. Have you ever heard of that, Miles? I've never heard of that.
Yeah, I just don't, like, you're spending all that money to have a roof that opens and shuts when it's going to be shut most of them. Just build a damn dome. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, like Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tampa. It's the Astros. Theirs doesn't open, does it?
Yeah, I think it does. Right?
Does it open?
I feel like, yeah. Let's look that up. That's a good question.
I've seen it open like 0% of the time, just like Dallas.
Honestly, the only one that's completely a dome is Tampa Bay, or maybe even Toronto.
No, Toronto opens.
Okay, Toronto.
Yeah, Minute Maid Park has a retractable roof. Yep, opens and closes. I actually have, now that I've seen some games when it's been open. It's closed a lot though.
Yeah, but yeah, like in Texas, fucking this guy's telling me like when it gets above like 90 degrees in Texas, if you're in the fucking seats, like it's 100 degrees on those seats. Like it's over 100 degrees. It's like fucking nuts. So I was like so worried. It's like I don't have any suntan lotion or anything. And then the guy's like, yeah, I've never seen this dome open. Every time I come by, it's closed. Like, oh, thank God. Yeah, it was nice.
That's crazy.
This is the other thing. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, we were up in Seattle last weekend, as you said, and We went from being the bad luck charm for the Seattle Mariners from the last probably 10 years to I think becoming the good luck charm because we were walking through going to the game and they said that the Mariners had no fucking chance of winning, and then all of a sudden, boom, the Mariners win 6-1 with 3 home runs. And I was like, well, fuck me in the ass. That cost me a lot of fucking money.
Yeah, you were watching that from Nebraska, right, Mahomes?
Actually, I flew up there to, my brother has a hookup for these tickets, so I was able to fly up and see my brother and hang out in Seattle with these guys. So it was a good time.
It was a good time, yeah.
So the first 2 games, you guys beat the fuck out of them, right? Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely. I think if anyone's following, it didn't seem like that was going to be the case. But yeah, they put it on them the first 2, and then had their chances on Sunday. I'm sure Kelly will tell you his frustrations with that.
Yeah, they had the bases loaded. All I needed, if they hit 1 run in, bases loaded, 1 out. If they hit 1 run in, the score's tied up. They hit 2 runs in. Oh my God, man, we would have all been fucking sitting on a yacht in the New York Harbor.
That was the one game I actually watched the ending to that, and I saw that was right. So it was Pirates and Mariners were playing at the same time, and the Pirates, minutes before that happened, the Pirates had just lost on a walk-off 2-run shot in San Diego. So I was fucking pissed. I was like, gosh dang it. You could have won that series. And then I went right to the Mariners game, and it's like, okay, they got the bases loaded. And those last 2 years, it was like Mike Ford and then with like Lorenz or Sorenz or something. They
at least
suck.
What I'll say for the guy who batted last, he did ground into that double play, but he is the one who had the hit to break up the no-hitter because that team was getting no hit into the, I want to say, 5th or 6th inning.
Wow.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I saw Mike Ford step up to the plate, Pat, I was like, I might as well be down there with a Keystone Ice in my hand.
I've seen him bat a couple of times. Like, who the fuck is this guy? He just sucks. Just swings at whatever they throw. Just
he had a
zero
series.
runs, 0 RBIs.
He was with the Yankees last year and had a series where he just maybe it was a week or 2 weeks where he was like the best player in Major League Baseball. He turned into Babe Ruth for like 2 weeks with the Yankees. And then a couple weeks later, I think he got DFA'd, which is essentially like being cut or traded or whatever. But there was those 2 weeks he was like had the secret sauce.
I saw him down there and I was like, what the fuck's Corey Maher doing playing for the Mariners?
That's actually we made it almost 15 minutes in before a random Deer Lodge name drop. That's pretty good.
We're trying to get rid of all of our audience before we start name dropping. It's kind of a unspoken rule here.
Well, how many do we got left?
My buddy, my Pittsburgh buddy, I talk to all the time. He's going off on the Pirates all the time. Our catcher Perez, that's under a 100. He was like batting .98 or .95 the other day, or .095. And lo and behold, 2 nights ago, he gets the fucking game-tying RBI out of nowhere. I was like, okay, maybe he's starting to turn it around.
Yeah, he just needs his at bats.
But no, Mike Ford fucking sucks. You want to know why you're not competing in the division? 2 words, Mike fucking Ford.
I was like, you might as well have Jeff Ford down there.
I thought about Jeff Ford when he came into bat. I was like, God, you probably do just as well.
I was like, this is what I picture when we go to Junior Buzzards and one of us comes up to bat with our, with our shirt off after drinking 30 beers. Oh, okay. That's what we look like.
Man, this poor guy. I mean, turned into the roast of Mike Ford unintentionally.
Honey, the guy's going to go from the Yankees to fucking backyard wiffle ball with us in a couple of weeks.
That would be the hardest fall from grace in the history of Major League Sports. I don't think that's going to happen.
Hey, you think this podcast is bad, the language and everything. And a week or two ago, the only way for me to watch the Yankees game was by watching a podcast that these New York guys had. Oh my God, they're fucking ruthless. Like every strike, they're like, "We fucking suck."
Oh, New York's bad.
Yeah, they were ruthless, man. But that was the only way to watch it, and I laughed my ass off.
Especially because they're doing really well this year, too.
I know. One strike. It's like, oh, you've never seen a strike in your life?
Yeah.
That's like when you get those offbeat announcers, for a game you want to watch. You find some stream, they got like some people commenting or some British people commenting on it. You know what I'm saying? Just like, okay, this is different, but I'll watch it because they got the game on.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh-oh. Well,
Yeah.
You get weird up there.
Yeah.
It better be soda pop.
So, yeah, baseball regular season is where it gets pretty random. The playoffs are super predictable, who's going to win or not. But regular season is real weird. Like, as I look right now, the Pirates are fucking 4 innings away from sweeping the Dodgers in LA. If that happens, LA Dodgers, like almost 30% of the losses will be to the Pirates. That makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, it's
None.
insane.
The Pirates can't hardly beat the Reds at PNC Park, but they go on this road trip and suddenly they're competing against the best teams in the National League. It makes zero sense. And then, like last night, Seattle fucking destroyed the Orioles. Now tonight, it's like they just flipped completely. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all.
And then, like,
casinos are so big, Kelly. That's why those casinos are so big.
And then last night, I watched the fucking Rangers last night break their record for most consecutive wins at Global Life Stadium, like 6 in a row, which isn't a lot, but still like just random shit happening now. So Mahomes, we're gonna segue here, and I'll give you 3 options. Tell me which one you want to go to next: abortion, the 2020 election, or COVID-19.
Those are all really solid options. I would like to talk about the new Top Gun movie and how that's doing at the box office.
So why don't we talk gas prices here and inflation? That's actually kind of the lead topic here tonight. Started out with. So I think the gas average, I saw the day on the Pittsburgh News, it was like something like 467 or 465 is now like the fucking average national wise. And everyone likes to blame the president. I kind of put Biden on the title of this, but that's not necessarily what is the sole factor. I don't think the president has that much responsibility. But what do you make, Kelly, I guess, of all the gas prices just get out of control?
I mean, I can't pinpoint anything because, I stopped following, the congressional hearings and shit after the last election in 2020. But, I mean, inflation happens. It's just America is just like the stock market. Inflation's going to happen no matter what we do or who's the president or whatever, And prices are going to go up, prices are going to go down. I'm not really that shocked. People are like, oh my God, $4.50 a gallon. But I remember being young, and gas prices in Deer Lodge were $5 a gallon or whatever. Again, I can't pinpoint the year or whatever, but I remember gas prices being, I guess, insane. But they were so insanely low the last few years that now people think it's an anomaly or whatever. But inflation is bound to happen no matter what. And I don't really want to blame all the stimulus checks and all that shit. But guess what? The more the government hands out, it doesn't just come out of thin air or a printing press or whatever. It's like it's got to be paid for somehow. And, raising the gas prices and other things, groceries and meat prices and everything by a couple bucks, well, that's gonna take care of quite a few billion of dollars that we spent over the course of COVID and any other wars or whatever the fuck else they're spending it on.
What do you think?
I would just like to say, I don't know if you're going to call me, but I would just like to point this out, that the last 2 podcasts, He's going for it again. That Pat has decided to eat his dinner right in the middle of the
Can the host mute that mic? Just joking.
But what I was gonna say, Cuts, I think the most surprising, like you go to a couple of games or major league games, and you're going to a, diner downtown, whatever city you're going to, or grabbing a beer anywhere. It's like fucking, you're expecting to pay $5-6 a beer, then. But the most surprising one was we got back to Bozeman, flew back in, went to a Dairy Queen. Me and Kelly ordered a burger and fries, and he ordered a little cup of ice cream. And she's like, okay, that'll be 30 some bucks. And we're like, Jesus, hey, I was like, fuck. That's like 2 hours of work and minimum wage, if that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like,
well, and right on their
fucking everywhere.
Right on their window, it said, now hiring at $20 an hour. So in my head, we were the only people in line. I was like, okay, $30. That basically pays for their product and for their one employee in there. So
yeah,
it's crazy. I don't know. I feel like anything in life, the gas hike, doubling gas prices hurts the small man or the blue collar worker that's really, minimum wage or whatever. That you can really tell when prices rise and shit like that, or truck drivers, obviously. But for me, I just think that we're going to see gas prices go up and down and up and down, and grocery prices up and down and up and down the rest of our lives. Now, if gas prices reach $8 a gallon, that's when I'm going to say, okay, what the fuck is going on here? We have a problem. But until it goes over $6, I'm not going to get very worried.
Yeah, just a reference there, Kelly, when going back, and I can't quote like every place in the world, obviously, but the highest the gas prices were kind of towards, I would say it's hard to tell. I guess back in college they got up towards $4. And when I went to Alaska, it was like $4.40 or something like that in Alaska, where prices for everything are way higher because they have to ship it all up there and everything. So in Alaska, it was $4.40, and I was like, that's fucking crazy. So I would say right now, these are the highest gas prices we've probably seen in history. I don't think they've been this, like on average, everywhere, this fucking high. Mahomes?
Yeah, I mean, to everyone's point, it doesn't matter who the president is. Like, the gas prices are going to raise, and it doesn't matter if it's Donald Trump or Mickey Mouse. Like, the gas prices are going to ebb and flow based on just oil dependency. And it just looked like, because it doesn't, like, Joe Biden is not the president of Finland or Greece, and I just happened to pull them out. Like, Finland, it is $8.90 a gallon right now. Greece, it's $8.70. Netherlands, it's $8.50. Like, there's all these countries where it's over $8, damn near $9. That has nothing to do with the United States of America. It just doesn't matter. It's all like, I think those countries are probably that high because they had a lot of dependency on Russian oil, is my guess. And now they're trying to like boycott that for the Ukraine stuff, and it's pinching their reserves, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff, but it doesn't matter who your president is. The oil and gas are going to vary depending on what's going on, just exactly like Kelly said.
And you go back to George W. Bush, and Biden's having the same reaction that Bush had when gas prices suddenly went up. Hello? Dude? What are you gonna do about this? Well, there's nothing I can do about this.
I mean, pretty much. Yeah,
I think also we're gonna point the finger at someone in America now. You know what I'm saying? Even if that person's completely innocent, that's just the way we're going. Like, someone's got to be responsible for this or whatever, you know. And I think right now, as a news source, it's a great freaking debate because you get people arguing. Sit back and eat popcorn, watch it.
Yeah,
I remember to the point about Bush when we were like in high school and college. That feels like to me, and maybe older people will tell me it's been like that forever, but it felt like as soon as we got to the Bush generation and like social media, like someone would get an STD and be like, "Thanks a lot, Bush." Like,
I remember that.
in
Oh,
Clinton's
God.
America, I could get a condom way easier. This is your fault.
Well, there's a lot of variables that go into all this shit that I don't think not a single person can pinpoint where it is, and I don't think they're anybody smart enough to understand it. But on a very basic level, we owned a restaurant, and we obviously dealt in pizza. So you get a case of cheese. I think the lowest I ever saw it was, Matt could probably talk about this more than I could, but lowest I ever saw it was maybe $35, $37 a case. And the worst I ever saw it was during COVID. 1 week, a case was $81 for cheese, So naturally, as a restaurant, the price of your pizza should go up significantly if you're now paying over double what you did for your main ingredient. So I think that's what's going on with gas prices. It's like, I don't really understand why, cheese is going up. I don't understand why gasoline is going up, but I'm a gas station and they're now charging me $2, $3 more than I used to get charged. Well, that's passed down to the customer, the consumer. That's just how it works.
Yeah, and that's how the price of food are going up. Because gas prices are so fucking ridiculous because of Joe Biden, right?
Well, I know, and I mean, you should have heard Kelly railing on Trump during COVID and the cheese price. I mean, we all heard that in the news, right? Like, damn, thanks a lot for the cheese prices, Donnie.
Yeah. So
I think people like to simplify things, and it's just easier to say, let's go Brandon and fuck Joe Biden and gas prices suck because of Trump. I think it's just easier for people to comprehend that and understand it, but it's like, it's so much more complicated than that.
yeah, it's there's something weird about like the let's go Brandon or whatever. So I get picked up in Dallas, Texas last night at a restaurant, just get right back to my hotel, and my Uber driver is fucking wasted.
So what's that have to do with gas prices?
I didn't get to it, but like, so you know how you have the app and like you can get the license plate and it's dark out, so you want to make sure you're getting the right vehicle. So I started out, I looked at the license plate, so he stops, and it was supposed to be golden, so it was like in the dark, looked like white. So I just looked at his license plate first, like, oh, it's him. So I get in, he's like, the fuck you look at my license plate for? You're afraid to get in or something? What are you doing out there?
Jeez. He's like, I am a Johnny Cab.
He's flying through traffic, not using the signal at all, just kind of going here, going there. Oops, I think that's the way we go. Yep, let's go. And he's just talking about, I have driven the last couple of years, not a single person I've met ever was a Joe Biden voter, ever. So how did he win the election?
You also are you're in the heart of Texas too, so I'm not that surprised.
You're in the seat of like the Republican House, man.
He's like his name was Ted Cruz. He was driving me around Dallas. Just like, I have never heard of a Biden voter.
Texas doesn't give a fuck. So the last time I was here, me and my buddy Don Bromley, we told the story. Like, we actually asked an Uber driver if he wanted to come into the bar and take a shot with us, and he did.
I mean, you probably made his night.
I know. So I guess I'm not that shocked that I had to get picked up by an Uber driver that was fuck. He was drinking something. You know how he had those super fucking popular. People bring those big mugs or whatever. They're like clear or whatever with the clear top on the clear top mugs.
No, sure, yeah. Like the big old, almost look like steel big gulps with a clear top.
Yeah. I can't remember I got those all the time through my work up in Alaska. I can't remember that super popular company that makes them. But he had one of those, and I was like, man, I didn't want to just grab it, just take a sip out and see what he was drinking.
Straight bourbon.
Yeah.
Don't touch that. Look at my license plate. Don't touch my drink.
Oh, wait, look at my fucking license plate. Just get in the fucking car.
He passes out on the interstate. You gotta wake him up. Hey, I know what I'm doing.
That's the first time I actually felt nervous in an Uber driver car. Where I'm like, fuck, I don't really feel that comfortable right now.
Yeah. How many stars did you give that Uber driver?
Oh, I gave him 5 stars and the highest tip ever.
You see those Uber drivers down in Vegas, man? They freaking fly through traffic. Just
Do they?
Like, woo, woo, woo. Oh yeah. It's like, what the fuck, you guys like?
I don't care who you fucking are. The Uber driver passenger experience is fucking just fun to me. I love it. It's always a different dude. They either A, 50% of the time, watch this. 50% of the time, either A, they want to talk nonstop, or B, they don't want to say 2 fucking words to you. Right, Mo's? Like,
Yeah.
I think
And
part of
honestly,
too,
it
like,
depends on my mood.
I was gonna say a lot of them don't speak English too, so I think that.
that's part of it. Yeah, but like, man, there's some that like, man, they fucking won't shut the fuck up.
Oh yeah, and like I love those guys. If I'm actually like, if it's been a night out and I'm needing the Uber to get home safely. But if it's like I'm in a new town or just trying to get to the airport, don't talk to me. I don't want that.
I was debating Deshaun Watson going to the Detroit airport, going to Texas Rangers game. I talked fucking everything. I was talking about the NBA Finals, talking about Luka Doncic because I forgot the Mavericks are in Dallas too. So I talked a bunch about NBA. That guy. There's certain guys that are cool. Like you can talk sports with them, and it's kind of fucking fun. Like go through because you can talk about their local teams like the Mavericks and shit. But there's other guys are just like, dude, do we really need to do this? Hey, breaking news! Drew has officially joined the show once again.
Hey, Drew.
What's up, Drew?
Drew had a fun night in Texas last night, man. It was a blast. Got driven around by a drunk Uber driver. I guess that's how Texas does it.
Drew, you there?
Hey, this breaking news. Moose messaged our group that he was sorry that he missed rehearsal.
Well, see, that's it. It's like he's watching right now and can see 2 names just ripping on him.
He writes, no, I can't, Mahoney.
Yeah. Not watching.
I came all the way out here to find this one here you can't anywhere else but Pittsburgh. Rolling Rock.
Rolling.
yeah.
Oh my god, I hate that shit.
Rolling Rock,
Ew.
man. You can never find it.
Icky, yuck. No, thanks. That's Uncle Scott. Hey, so when's that NBA final start? Anybody know?
That's a good question. I don't, but I do.
Tomorrow night, actually. Fuck. What time does it start though? Let me take the time.
Probably about 6 Montana time, I'm thinking.
We go.
30?
Tomorrow, 7 p.m. your time.
Oh.
Dallas is something else. Yeah, it's something else, Drew. It's fucking crazy, man.
Well, who's crazy in a dude crack, man? Yeah, no. I would probably just jump out of the car at a stop sign if I could tell the dude was methed out who was driving me around.
So I'd still take Dallas over Houston, although I've been to Houston. Houston's way too low down there. Anyways, 9 p.m. Eastern. Fuck. I have to stay up till 9 o'clock just to see the tip-off tomorrow.
Who we taking, boys?
That's I was just gonna ask that. I'm gonna take the experience and go with the Warriors.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Golden State at home. I think, especially Game 1, Warriors want to win Game 1.
What's the fucking? Let me look at the fucking line on this thing.
I'm gonna go with the over. Makes no sense. The series over.
I mean,
So
the Celtics have gone through, like, the Heat had the best record. They beat the Bucks. Like, I mean, it's been impressive.
Who was their first? Oh, the
Nets.
Probably the Nets series is probably the most impressive to me so far, simply because the Nets, you can sit there and say Joe Harris can hit threes. He's a great player. But the Nets only were missing basically Joe Harris. They had everybody else there. And basically they're a buzzer beater from having a series there, but the Celtics swept the fucking Nets with all their players, Durant, Kyrie, all those guys.
He was all talk going into the playoffs. This is not the team you want to face, the Nets. And guess what? They played exactly how they did in the regular season. So Yeah, they were terrible down the stretch. They played some shitty teams that Kelly can tell you, betting-wise.
Nets played some shitty teams and shit the bed bad down the stretch.
Yeah. I don't know. The NBA is really tough. It seems like every sport just has its own niche, like how to bet it or whatever. And I'm not saying I'm a professional or anything, but I'm probably more professional than a lot of people that don't do it every single fucking day. But the NBA and the MLB and the NFL, it's like you have to change your entire mindset to bet on this shit. I'll tell you what, the MLB the last week or so has just pissed me the fuck off. So I'll give you an example. We're watching the Astros tonight. I put a bet. They haven't scored 3 points in the last week, right? 4, whatever. But I put an under 7. So lo and behold, here comes the 7th inning. It's 1-0 A's. I'm like, I'm good to go. And then the Astros.
As I say, Verlander was pitching too, and he had a no-hitter going.
Yeah. And then lo and behold, the Astros put up fucking 5 runs in the 9th inning to make it an 8 total game. So I lost my bet, and I was just like, I was really fucking pissed. And then we were playing wiffle ball. So the very next pitch, I finally hit Janel. Tilly somehow catches the grounder, throws it to first like he plays for the fucking Astros. I punched the wall so fucking hard because I was so pissed. I was like, the guy that never catches a single fucking thing is all of a sudden Jose Altuve.
Now you know what it's like when I'm playing against you and you have a beer in your hand and I hit like a frozen rope right to you.
Oh, it was frustrating, man.
Hey, but we won though. You hit a home run.
Yeah, it was true. We did win, but back to sports betting. That's just so fucking frustrating. It's like you guys can't score at all until the 9th inning of the 6th or 7th game you've played in a row, and then now you want to put up points. That just drives me nuts.
Kelly, did you bet the over/under on that last Game 7 between the Heat and the Celtics?
What was the final? It was like a 196 or something was the final, right?
Yeah, that was the final over/under or whatever.
Yeah, I think I bet an over 208, live betted it, and that's when they were scoring a shit ton of points in the 3rd quarter or whatever, and then all of a sudden they can't hit a point for 5 fucking minutes. And it drives you nuts as a sports bettor because it's like we bitch about the refs in the NFL most of the time. If you're just watching a game, you don't give a shit, But if you need something to happen and then the ref doesn't call a strike or call something a ball or whatever, it's just like, come on, man. You don't fucking do that, and we're hitting our bet. So every little thing matters,
I would say this about Boston that I wouldn't say this is a huge asterisk. These teams are still good no matter what. But the Bucks didn't have Chris Middleton. And if the Bucks don't have Middleton, they offensively, Giannis has to score 50 points a game basically for them to have a shot at winning. When all Tatum has to do is score like 25 and the Celtics will win. So they beat a Bucks team that wasn't fully healthy. It was basically needing Giannis to score 60 points for them to have a shot. And then they played a Heat team that by the end of that series, the Heat basically needed Jimmy Butler to score 40 a game for them to have a shot. So, I mean, the Celtics played 2 teams that were missing. They were pretty banged up, in my opinion. And both those teams are not close to the same because they're very highly defensive. So both of them offensively are not close to say if they're missing like key offensive players like Tyler Hero or Chris Middleton. Golden State, who are they missing in their lineup? I mean, they're loaded with offensive guys right now. Like who's the guy that got hurt against Memphis?
I don't know. I feel like I haven't watched a ton of the Warriors. I just feel like they have everybody going. Let me check here.
Well, you can look at stats all you want and stuff. And
Gary Payton. Sorry, Gary Payton the second.
Oh yeah, the Gary Payton the second.
I don't think he's a gigantic loss.
No, he's a defensive specialist.
He's a good plug-in piece, but he's not like massive. But anyways, Kill, what are you saying?
I was just saying you can look at stats all you want, and I look at them more and more the more I bet, and I wish that I didn't because I literally used to just look at the records of the team and then just kind of like, okay, what's going to happen? But now you look at pitchers and you're like, oh, my God, this guy's got a 2.35 ERA or whatever. But then, like, up in Seattle. You got Verlander, and the very first inning, he gives up 2 home runs to Seattle. And it's just, I'm like, why the fuck do you even look at this shit? Why don't you, it's almost like, it's like, again, us playing a game in the backyard. It's like we can put up 10 points or we can put up 1 point. It makes no fucking sense. And one more thing I wanted to say about the NBA, sports betting wise, I haven't followed the playoffs religiously, but to me, it seems like the under has been 90% of the games. I've only seen one game that I checked in on. I've only seen one game over 230 in the entire playoffs. I know there's probably been more, but that's the only thing I've seen in the entire playoffs was one game over 230. Other than that, the under takes the cake.
That's what you get with the Celtics too, man. They are fucking defensive minded. Pretty sure if you bet the under in a Celtics game, it's going to come close to hitting.
Yeah, that was kind of like one of the points I was kind of alluding to is like the Celtics have not really. Yeah, they've had some guys that are banged up. Everyone's banged up this time of the year, but they've been pretty fully healthy, and they have a full lineup of guys that are. We have the trio of Marcus Smart, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown's been playing really fucking good. Like Jaylen Brown's been playing out of his ass. Like he's been playing really good. Those 3 guys are really, really fucking solid, both offensively and Tatum's not great defensively, but the other 2, both offensively and defensively, have been playing really fucking good. They have Derek White out the bench has been unloading threes. I mean, they have a lot of players. Horford can get hot. They have a lot of players who can score the basketball, and they play defense. That's why I looked at the line, and the Warriors, to open up, were only a negative 145 to win the series, which isn't that big of a favorite if you know betting lines. It's kind of like, so it kind of gives you that feel. But you look at Golden State, and it's like, well, how could they lose the series? And it's like, oh, fuck, I don't know. Celtics are pretty fully healthy and fully loaded. They're going to be a lot harder, I think, if you imagine.
Who's that? On Sunday, we were watching that playoff game. Who's that piece of shit, Mahoney from the Heat, that if they tied it up, I had the over on Sunday, so if they tied it up, I hit the over easy. That guy's got 20 seconds. He rolls down, just fucking 3-pointer. No, fucking air ball.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler.
Just
fuck that guy.
He could have easily driven to the lane. I mean, it was a transition. Like there was no reason for him to do that.
All he had was Horford backing up, and
he rolls back, and I see
we got fouled.
I see 20 seconds on the board, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, man? That is the most selfish play I've seen probably this entire year in any sport.
Well, because then even if he makes it, now the other team has 19 seconds to go down, and all they need is 2 points to take the lead.
The other part, though, is that he's not a 3-point shooter. He really is. He can't hit threes. Like he can't. Like the game 6, he had like 4 threes. But he's not normally a 3-point shooter. So, yeah, when he pulled up, like, the announcer was like Jeff Van Gundy basically said on air, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah. I mean, I just remember when I thought he was going to, like, maybe pull up and there was a guy I didn't see on screen who was going to, like, flash in. But no, he just pulled up with plenty of time left to shoot a me-first shot, which was interesting.
So
didn't they make an insane 3-pointer before that? And dude,
Strauss did, yeah.
Yeah, he misses that shot, and I look over at Mahoney, and Mahoney's just like, he's one of the biggest pieces of shit in the NBA.
Oh, you guys were there that Sunday. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Granted, they go in, they tie the game up. Now they got 20 seconds. I mean, there could have been a lot more scoring. I think it ended at 196. There could have been a lot more scoring just in 20 seconds. You know how long 20 seconds can be in a tied basketball game in the NBA. But because of that, it's like the fucking game's over, man. The game is over.
Yeah.
I mean, and in fairness, he was like, he carried them most of the postseason, but still, like that play is what people are going to remember. They're not going to remember the 40 points the game before. They're going to like, what have you done for me lately? Unfortunately, is how people look at it.
It was funny, Mahoney, flying home on Monday. I was watching ESPN or something, and they were talking about that shot, and they're like, "So, do you take this three? Are people mad about this or whatever?" They're like, no, he's been the trusted player on this team all year long or all playoffs long, whatever. You got to put it in his hands. You got to trust him. And I just shut it off, and I said, "Oh, shut the fuck up.
God.
I can't remember. I was trying to look it up, but I saw it was either on like Barstool or somebody I follow on whatever had said that when there's a certain reffing the games this year in the playoffs, the Celtics are 12-0, and that is that seems maybe like there's something to look at there. Like I was trying to find the exact but I'm struggling to find it.
Yeah, there were some bad calls against Miami that game.
Jeez. Did he put that Cheetos bag around his mic?
No.
Here's last point. He's like, oh,
God, I have this idea.
like Bush movie theater. Holy fuck.
Can you imagine Joe Rogan? Let me reach for my cheese puff Cheetos here.
He's just eating the loudest possible thing.
Last week, Bonnie, when I say the Rialto is annoying to watch movies at, it'd be like you have people in there digging through their pockets. Like, take a fucking handful. What are you digging through the bottom trying to find a prize at the bottom? It's like, fucking take a handful out. Like,
Or Jim Cameron last night at Shawshank rehearsal down at the theater. I just hear like this ice, in a cooler, like chunk, like he's grabbing a beer. But then it went on and on and on. Finally, I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Apparently the ice was all frozen. He was trying to like pickaxe a beer out of the bottom of the cooler. But, like, geez, man.
I hate that. Or like our mom today, like driving around traffic in Pittsburgh and stuff. I'm trying to figure stuff out where I'm supposed to go and all these things. And she's just constantly eating something. It's like, you have to be doing that right now, right behind me.
I think that's your turn.
Can I comment? Moose looks in. This is to Matt. Moose looks intense. Is he pre-recorded? Conspiracy.
Moose.
Matt's screen's Moose.
Oh, Matt's screen's Moose.
I'm no show Moose.
Yeah.
He's no show.
Real Moose. Yeah.
He's in a dark place right there. No.
He is. He's in a dark place.
Moose. Sorry.
But yeah, sports just change, when watching them just as a fan or whatever. And then if you're sports betting, it's just everything fucking changes because everything matters. And it's like, man, I can't tell you how many, just in that Seattle series we went to, they left like, I stopped counting after 12 or 15. They just left so many fucking players on base. And I know that happens in baseball. That's baseball. But it's like, seriously, man, can you imagine if you could even score half of those? You'd be beating every team by 10 all season long. Runners in scoring position. You know what I mean?
Yeah. They had a lot of traffic on the base paths, as they say. It wasn't. I mean, the fact that they beat them so handily the first two games, it was like, to your point, they could have crushed them. And then really, it's not like they didn't do anything until like the fifth or sixth inning. And then they started getting, bases loaded. Bottom of the ninth, one out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
very frustrating.
Thrive off that shit. You've seen some of the best closers in the game load up the fucking bases with no outs, and you're thinking this is an easy for sure win. But they're so freaking good at what they do. Next thing you know, they're 2 outs and 1 more strike left. And I guess you see it more when you're betting on the game. But like, fuck, I think it happens a lot more. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot harder to score a run even with the bases loaded than it is with it.
Yeah, it's talking about changes and stuff with baseball. It's been driving me nuts. Like the one positive thing I could say about baseball is for the longest time it was the most traditional sport. They didn't change up all the rules and make them all these radical different rules, unlike the NFL, and they just stuck to their fucking traditions. For the last 5 years, they just said fucking flushed all that down the toilet pretty much. Like it used to be like, okay, the AL has a DH, the NL doesn't. Not a big fucking deal. You can go out to the mound 500 times in the middle of the game because there's no time clock or anything. Now you can't do that anymore. Now they start fucking baseball's overtime was so cool because it didn't end until someone scored a run. Now they have some fucker on second base every single overtime. Started out, I was like, maybe in the 15th or 16th inning or something like that, I could see that, but like, it's kind of ruined the fucking game for me. Like,
there is no such thing as a 15th or 16th inning anymore. Not with that base on.
No, it's fucking
that's going
terrible.
away. This season is the last of that. And then they're going back to what they used to.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, really?
I think the mound visit thing, I'm all for it. Like, I remember going to some games like with my brother and stuff, and it was like you'd have guys going out like every other batter, and it turns into a 4.5 hour game.
No,
Great for beer sales, but you don't need more than 5 fucking mound visits in a game.
For beer
No, if you go back and managers kind of fuck themselves. You go back to the year the Cubs won the World Series. I think it was like Game 4 where the Cubs did that, where they started pulling pitchers left and right. And then the Giants took the fucking lead, and it was Bruce Bochy. I don't know if you remember this. He had 3 different pitchers face 3 different fucking batters.
Yeah.
Like, what are you? And they blew the fucking. I was like, what are you doing? Like, come on. Like it was just such a dumb move. That's. It seems more to me that it's like saving managers from being complete dumbasses than anything.
But going off Mahoney's point, if you're there at the game, like honestly, God, I'm the type of guy. If they're bringing in pitchers and delaying the game as long as it possibly can, and there's still beer sales, I am all for it. Now watching it on TV, you're like, fuck, come on, another commercial. But if I'm there, I don't give a shit who's pitching.
But with Bruce Bochy, he'd get like one pitcher that was pitching well and just fucking pulling 3 other guys that are just out of nowhere. As you warmed up and all, oh fuck it, just throw them in there. I like the matchup. I like the matchup on the left-hander.
Not to compare it to our wiffle ball game today, but Jane will pitch the whole game. We go into extra innings, and Jane was like, "Yeah, I hurt my shoulder, doing construction or whatever." So he puts Moose in, and like I said, 2 pitches later, we're up 3-1. Moose was pretty pissed too. He had some harsh words for the camera, if you will.
He took himself out of the game too.
Like, Daniel, you got to finish this. There's no outs. It was 4-1 at the time. You got to finish this.
Sounds like he took himself right out of rehearsal as well. Really impacted him.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was fucking thinking.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of on both sides of the. I'm kind of on both sides of your guys' argument here. Like, I don't want the game to last for fucking ever, but on the flip side of the coin, on that Sunday game in Seattle, it was like it was the 5th inning, 6th inning before you knew it. I was like, holy fucking shit, man, that game flew by. But so it's just a double-edged sword.
Yeah,
that one was just the pitchers were just dominating. That's all that was. But yeah, I don't hate I'm not a big fan of, the runner on second, and that's going away. I grew up a fan of the American League, so it's like I never liked I don't want to watch a pitcher strike out, and I don't want to see like of course the NL pitchers are going to look better. Their ERAs are going to be like way better because they get like an automatic strikeout every 9th batter. So I never liked watching. I don't care for the strategy or to try and watch some guy who can't hit. But overall, like I still think baseball is much more traditional than even. I mean, the NFL is a pretty good example of how I would say the NFL of any sport has probably changed the most in our lifetime in terms of just
my best quote on the NFL is pretty simple. If like I'll watch it with like my girlfriend or whoever, and then she comes up, she's like, "So I don't know, what are the actual rules of the NFL?" Nobody knows, sweetheart. Nobody fucking knows.
You're like, I might as well explain the backyard wiffle ball rules in our parents' backyard. It's a lot shorter.
God, the rules we have for that.
Every game there's a new how do we rule this? I guess that's why you don't play with crabapple trees and fucking dog houses on your field.
You should talk about the Butch interference game before the fucking Angels being killed.
Oh my God. Yeah, so he's taking the garbage out, Mahomes. It's like, again, it's like every game, it seems like something happens back there where it's like we got to create a new rule. So he's taking the garbage out. He opens the back gate, leaves it open, of course. And of course, the next hit flies down the sidewalk and out the back gate. So we have to create a new fucking rule. It's like
That's a ground rule double. That's easy.
Yeah.
That's an easy rule.
was that how we ruled that, Pat?
Basically, we had the rule that Tilly couldn't go past third because I don't know. I don't think. Here's the problem: if the ball was hit, it would have bounced right back to me off the gate, and I would have had it thrown to Kelly, and there would have been a play at the plate. But since the gate was open, Tilly just ran home. So we just ruled it. We basically, it wasn't necessarily a ground rule in that situation. We just ruled that Tilly had to go back to third base, and then that's all.
I mean, that's how I would have ruled it. Is like, all right, the ball went out of play, not over the fence. It's a ground rule double.
So here's a funny one. We were in this intense game today, 1-1. Matt's pitching, Tilly's up. There's 2 strikes. So Matt, and there's all these little kids from like down the block that literally just stood outside the fence, and we kept saying like, "Hey, move away, move away. We're gonna, foul a ball and hit you. It's gonna hurt or whatever." So they're all fucking around, but it was nice because they were throwing back all the foul balls. So Tilly's up, Matt's pitching, Matt pitches, and halfway in on the pitch,
3-2 count too.
3-2 count. One of those little kids throws a foul ball past Tilly's face. So Tilly strikes out. She's like, fuck. Tilly just yelling. So like, okay, no. I was like, honestly, I'd be pissed too. I was like, okay, you guys can't throw balls in the middle of a game. So we said Tilly wasn't out, but then he struck out the next pitch. But still, I was laughing my ass off because like Matt pitches and then all of a sudden the second ball just flies right past Tilly's face. Like, what are we doing here? Oh, shit. Well, about time to round them wiffle balls.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's about time to round the old horses on that ground rule double call there.
Mahoney, the funniest thing was these kids were seeing a bunch of grown-ass adults play wiffle ball, and they're like, we kind of want to come in and play. No, stay out.
No, this is a man's game.
Hey, if Mike Freeze signs on in 2 minutes, are you out of here, Mahoney?
Yeah, for sure. Nothing against you, Mike, but I'm starving. I haven't had dinner yet.
Fuck, man.
Hey, what are you eating for dinner tonight?
I don't know. I got some leftover Dominoes over here that I might partake in.
Some leftover tacos and salsa.
Yeah.
Yeah, fucking Domino's, man. I look at my credit card statement. Domino's. Like, geez.
Domino's owns your ass.
All right, you guys ready to talk some UFOs?
Well, I guess we have to now.
I mean, yeah, we don't want to leave Drew hanging.
Yeah, well, part of this episode is not going to be UFOs. I'll just recap the UFO congressional hearing, which happened, about 2 weeks ago. Oh God, sorry, that pizza's going down.
Fucking what? Almost 11 o'clock out there.
Yeah, it was a weird day.
The late night munchies.
God, the pizza's going down.
No, he's like fucking throwing up in his mouth.
There's your fucking UFO, Drew.
Hey, don't piss off our one viewer.
Yeah.
After we lost Canada.
This show is on life support, and Drew has his hand on the plug.
The hearing happened. Again, why would the government be interested in UAPs? One exciting line is UAPs are alien spacecraft. It's concept. Okay, blah, blah, blah. The problem with the hearing, though, is they never really revealed anything new to anybody.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of big words that just sound funny or sound good, but
Yeah,
a lot of bullshit. Big word bullshit, basically.
Here's and we kind of covered this before. Here's what's happening is that the government wants to take the forefront of it, not to be more open about it, but to try to control the narrative on it and to kind of control the narratives on UFOs, all these different things. So what they really want, we want you to be openly reporting to us. Well, they want as much access to any UFOs as possible because everybody knows whoever gets that technology or whatever government gets the UFO technology, if that ever happens, that government's going to take over the fucking world. I think that's like the number one reason. And then the other part is, well, that is the whole part. Like they can reverse engineer the material and everything. I think that's the number one reason. The other part is aliens posing possibly a security threat. And that's why they want to also control. What do you think, Kelly?
I just think anything that gets big or popular, the government wants to have its hand in the cookie jar, just like anything else. And I don't know. UFOs kind of blows my mind because it's like, are people really like losing their minds over this shit? You know, like are people really going out in their backyards with? I mean, it's fun to talk about, just like ghosts or zombies or vampires or whatever else. But when the government gets involved, it just makes things really fishy. You know, I always question it. Like, why the fuck do you think you need to have your hand in the cookie jar on all this shit? So apparently it must be way bigger than anybody actually thinks or expects if the United States government's getting involved, because it's they're not going to waste their fucking time on, fucking Teletubbies out, in the Rock Creek Lake. I should have stopped talking 5 minutes ago.
How you ended was my favorite part, to be honest.
Hey, an alien's actually sucking my brain out right now. Call your local officials.
Just got an update out of LA. The Pirates are now up 5-2 on the Dodgers.
Hey!
In the eighth, yeah.
Turn that motherfucker on.
Yeah, in the eighth. But what do you think about the alien stuff? The government now kind of coming out and admitting it and trying to, I don't know what they're doing. Mahomes.
It's crazy. It's like, why now? I think is probably the biggest thing. Kelly had touched on it before. Like, why all of a sudden? And now they're like, I don't know if these videos are leaking, but there's these crazy videos that are coming from like military aircraft that you're seeing that don't make any sense, like the way the objects are moving. And it's this article says from 2004 to 2021, there's 143 reports that they can't explain at all. And then the next line down says, in the last year, that number is probably actually at doing more reports. That number is closer to 400. So that's 400 since 2004. Stuff they found flying in the sky that they can't explain. It's either exciting or terrifying or a mix of both. So I don't know. And it's weird now that it's just like, all right, let's just talk about this in front of everyone.
You think most aliens are peaceful, or do you think aliens are sinister fucks?
I mean, I don't know. Look at, if they're anything like the human race, look at what we did when we didn't like when we discovered America, or when we went into places that more civilized parts of the world went to places. They came in and just destroyed it and made it their own. So if we just use our own human race, I don't like our odds. So I guess if that's what we're talking about. But maybe they're better. Maybe they're more advanced, so they know to not be total piles of shit and blow us all up or give us the plague or whatever.
What do you make, though? This is the first Congress hearing on UFOs in 50 years. And what do you make of the fact that they basically came out with fucking nothing, pretty much? Like, it was the biggest.
It's not surprising. What's more surprising is the fact that we're hearing these numbers, like I said, like up to 400 things they can't explain, or you're seeing videos now that I feel like when we were in high school or college or growing up, that stuff that would be like, if that somehow came out, they would do everything they can to make it look like the guy who took the video was a like serial alcoholic or something, like Now it's just like, no, this is a military personnel, and we can't explain this.
I think they're also back in the day they were so worried about public perception of like people losing their minds if they came forward with these truths or whatever. So now where it's like the public perception and everything and opinion on aliens has shifted so dramatically to where so many people now know there's something out there that I think the government now is saying is like, okay, well, it's not going to harm us at all coming out and saying, yeah, they do exist. Here's fucking a bunch of proof that a bunch of stuff we can't explain. Whereas before, they're like, oh, yeah, if we come out with this, people are going to lose their fucking minds, jump off fucking bridges and shit.
Well, and a ton of people, like, we could have an interview, like a full-on, like, welcome the alien race interview, and a ton of people wouldn't believe it. Like, I mean, that's just the way it is right now. There'd be a bunch of truthers on the internet telling us how it's not fake, and it's like Katy Perry behind the mask or some shit.
Well, I always think about the human race, think deeply about it. If we are actually animals, and I've alluded to this in past podcasts, but you got, rats and dogs and fucking monkeys and apes and then humans. And like, we are so freaking superior to every other animal on the planet, but life is expansive. So does it end with the smartest human on the planet? Do we get a lot smarter where we become more like aliens where we can talk through telekinesis? Or is there a smarter, race out there among us, a species out there among us, which I believe that there is because the universe is endless. So I guess my point is, where do we expand from here? Because the human chain can't just top out. Nothing can top out. Everything just gets bigger and bigger and smarter and wiser and more expansive. And either we're going to meet something that teaches us how to go to the next level, or we're going to go that next level on our own, or they're already among us and we're already learning. But I mean, think how fucking smart any average human being is. Like, even somebody that you consider stupid, they are still infinitely smarter than something that's in a zoo right now, like a chimp that's in a zoo. Like, they can draw a picture on the wall that makes sense or write a sentence that makes sense. It's insane how far the human race has come, unless you don't believe that we're animals. But I mean, if we're not, what the fuck are we? Aliens?
Ooh, well, that feels like a good way to end it to me.
Near.
I think
So I
that's
don't know
what
if
we're
anybody-
around.
What?
What?
Fuck did he just say?
I don't
Oh,
know.
sorry. Kelly, literally the janitor from that wiffle ball game came in and cut me off.
What, did you need a beer out of your cooler?
No, he just wanted to tell me that the lights were on downstairs and I could shut them off in a little bit.
Cat's actually in their bed here in Deer Lodge. Hey, can you wrap it up? We want to go to bed.
Yeah, fuck.
I don't know. I don't know if that was an actual point to what we're talking about, but if anybody else has anything, chime in there. I've thought about that for a long time, about us being such intelligent beings and animals and walking on two legs and driving cars. It's just and creating nuclear weapons. To me, it's fucking insane if we really were monkeys 1 million years ago or 2 million years ago.
Oh, it's crazy too. Like, you look at the stadiums, people built in the buildings, and I was looking at that big cruise ship the other day out in the pier, and I was like, how the fuck does man build that thing? It's like insane. And we're sitting in an airplane. I think that's a phenomenal thing. It's like you're high above the fucking world, and it's crazy how men and science and all these years of technology have just come to where you can get anything at an instant, go anywhere you want to, at a short distance of time, and it's just insane how far we've gotten, and how good we are in their fields, I should say.
Well, and you still can't. And going back to building stuff, there's still, like, again, not to bring this up, there's no explanation whatsoever for the pyramids to this day, how they were ever fucking created. I think the biggest mystery, though, of Mahomes is I feel like we actually did an episode on the pyramids, and yet somehow we only spent about 10 minutes actually talking about it.
You're not wrong. But yeah, they're everywhere. Pyramids be everywhere.
I'd like to do an actual full episode on the pyramids one of these days. The one we did, all we got were a couple fucking hieroglyphics of a guy holding a purse or some shit. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. After I heard purse 17 times, I was done.
Yeah, I want to do an actual episode on the pyramids and actually talk about, like, in-depthly about it. It'd be a lot of fun. But that episode, we had a guy on. I'm not sure where the purse thing. I actually still don't understand what the whole purse thing. Do you know what the purse thing was about?
It seemed to be like irrefutable proof that these were alien made or something. I don't know. I don't remember. But purses were involved.
You guys love the purse. The
Well,
alien purse.
if you watch Planet of the Apes, that's why that's such an intriguing movie to me, because can you imagine? So say like most of the world is apes. I'm not trying to go down like a super deep rabbit hole here. I'm just saying most of the world's apes. And they're like, oh, but there's this one ape that has created a car to drive them around, and like Matt said, a plane to fly them through the sky. You would be like a fucking god on this earth, you know, compared to the rest of the species. But most of the people that fly on a plane, I don't think they even question it. They're just like, yep, I'm on a plane, take me. That's why I'm so scared to fly and do certain things that I don't fully understand. Because I'm like, we're literally in the sky right now. Like, I know that these don't crash ever or very often, but I don't know. I don't know where you guys feel on that, but it's just, to me, things that I don't understand scare the shit out of me.
Anything man-made will have its faults. Nothing, I think, is 100% sure it's man-made. You know.
Right.
I think that's the human coming out with you when you're flying a plane or whatever.
But I think about the same thing about it, especially airplanes. Like, think about how fucking big that aircraft is and all the maintenance and shit they need to take care of, and yet they just whip them in and out of the terminal 24/7. Like, you take off so fucking fast, you land, you're out the plane, they're taking off fucking again. It's like, how is that possible that they just manage that so fucking well where there's never any real serious errors except for very, very extreme situations? That's kind of mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
You're getting ready to, you're getting ready to fly thousands, like 10,000, like 15,000, whatever it is, up in the air for thousands of miles sometimes. And they just fucking whip it out there. All right, you're good to go. That just doesn't sound safe at all to me.
Well, I had a comedian friend once say, yeah, they say, well, you don't got to be afraid to fly because, you know, airplanes rarely crash. He's like, and cars always do. He's like, yeah, but when you get in an airplane crash, you don't survive. Like, you're dead.
Yeah, you can get into a fender bender at 5 miles an hour and not even have like a sore neck. You're not like, if you crash into a mountain, you're fucking dead. Like,
or you'll wish you were dead.
Yeah.
That's why I never wear my seatbelt in Deer Lodge at all, because, like, I'll never forget Ryan James's dad had that little exhibit where you, like, crash at like 20 miles an hour or something like that. Remember that? Remember that you sat in a. You don't remember that?
I remember, but I didn't take away from it not to wear my seatbelt.
That's why I never wear my seatbelt.
I'd rather get into a wreck at 20 miles an hour and fly out my fucking windshield than have some whiplash.
Then have a sore neck for a night.
Well, I went on that thing. I was like, oh, that's it? Okay. Well, I don't really care then.
Seatbelt on the plane isn't so if you crash, you can, like, absorb the shock, because you're fucking dead if you crash. Your seatbelt's for, like, turbulence. Boom, so they don't want you launching out of your seat when the plane takes a dip or something.
What about that? What about fucking seatbelts on the airplane, but on a bus they're just like, oh, fuck it, you don't need to wear anything.
Well, In high school, Pat learned not to wear a seatbelt, and I learned not to take karate.
You know what? I had this fucking TikTok that blew my mind the other day. It's just weird as fuck. They're like, they're talking about, the glitch in the Matrix, like different realities that we're in a simulation. This is this person's theory is this is proof we're in a simulation. They said, if we're not in a simulation, question yourself this: a fucking car. Imagine a car, design highways, streets for cars, right? The car is a small little vehicle. You can only fit 2 people up front in a small little console. There's no space for anything. And then you have this gigantic fucking bus with 2 seats on both sides, a huge ass aisle, driving that same exact road. How is that fucking possible?
I'm not an engineer, but it sure seems like engineering does fits in that.
Yeah, I don't understand that shit.
I mean, more than likely, it was like back at the beginning of time. They were like, "Well, we could make these cars this size and sell a shit ton of them," or like back in the day when there was like 8 people in a family, like let's only make it so they can fit 5 in a car, so they'll have to buy 2. I think that's probably more. It's probably more of like capitalism than we're living in a fake reality. But I don't know. Maybe that's exactly what they want me to think.
I wonder, but like the ease. I thought that was really interesting as fuck. I didn't buy it as necessarily like proof that it's the end of the world or whatever. But
Proof that it's the end of the world.
Yeah, that's because buses drive on the same road as cars. That's fucking it.
There's no seatbelts on this bus. It's the end of the world.
I don't normally wear one, but whatever.
My biggest problem with that is that you can easily just take. I want to sound like Evan Denty playing fucking prison, but you can easily just go on a bus with the tape measure, saying, "Hey, just hold up a second and take a tape measure across the bus, measure the length of it, and then do the same thing for a car."
Well, when I rode the bus with Martin Reist, the bus driver is like, "Oh, you don't think these are safe? Watch." He slammed on the brakes. We all slammed our heads off the seat in front of us. He's like, "Airbags."
That's just a guy who hates little kids. That's all that is.
Airbags.
Oh, God. What's your favorite?
Right. I was going to say, P. Diddy, should we start rounding these horses?
God, yeah, I want to go to bed. Jesus.
Jesus. That's like, but first, let me read 3 pages out of my thesaurus.
So we will be returning next week, probably fucking 11:11, guys. There it is, 11:11 right now. There's our magic sign coming around the horses. Oh shoot! I'm on Eastern time zone. That's only me.
It's only you, but it still counts.
Hey.
Yeah.
I was like, "Fuck, I'm done. I gotta go to bed."
We'll probably be back next week. I want to say probably the same. I get back into town Wednesday. I'll see how that day goes, but probably around the same time next week. I guess we'll do this. But hope you enjoyed the Live from Pittsburgh show. Let's round those horses, starting with Matt. What's your final what's your final take?
My final take. Just talking about what man is capable of is crazy. Like we saw this huge ass cruise ship, and it's just crazy that thing can move out in the ocean. Like the engineering behind that is phenomenal. And the same thing with pilots. I guess you just got to give credit where credit's due. I mean, the people, putting research and building these planes aren't idiots. You know what I'm saying? They've been doing it. I guess we don't understand it because, we're into different things. But I mean, it's just phenomenal how they get all them pieces to work together and move a mass of steel like that. It'll always blow my freaking mind. And I love talking about it, honestly. So thank you for tonight's show, Pat. Hope you're having fun in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I am having a lot of fun out here. Mahomes, your final word.
Yeah, man. Enjoy the Steel City. It was great to chat with everyone. It's fun to see you guys. We'll have to get you out to Nebraska this time instead of, the big city like we were in. But Yeah, it was interesting. We cover a wide variety of things. I'll go. I'll do Warriors in 6 as my final prediction for that. And overall, like the alien stuff we talked about. There's a band, Chronic Discharge. They have a part in their song where they stop and clap, and everyone says, "I believe in aliens." And I think that's. I'd like to turn that into a GIF for my UFO Congress.
God. Kelly.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground tonight, but I guess to end on what we've been talking about the last half an hour and aliens and human beings, where we come from, blah, blah, blah. I just think that anybody listening, expand your mind a little bit. Think, outside the box. Don't take everything for granted. I'm not saying be paranoid, but I'm just saying expand your mind and think, where the fuck did we come from? Where are we going? And modern technology, it's like we're really just trusting a handful of people that have, well, not a handful anymore, but I'm just saying at first to put a plane up in the air like we've been talking about, or a cruise ship out on the ocean. You're really trusting a few people that say, we're going to keep you safe, even though they've proved it time and time and time again. So I don't really know where I'm going with this ending statement, but expand your minds, think outside the box, and I don't know, maybe pray a little bit.
Who do you got? Warriors Celtics, your finals prediction.
Oh my God. I was leaning Warriors when we were talking about it, so I'll stick with Warriors. I don't know how many games, just overall Warriors win.
And Matt, who do you got? Warriors Celtics.
Mahoney took my best bet, so I'll go Warriors in 7. They clinch it back at home. It's an epic, really good series.
I'm going to go, since those are taken, I'm going to go Warriors in 5. I think this is a series that's going to be over quick, or it's going to be a series that's going to go like 7 games. My biggest take on the Warriors is we're in a superstar league, and the Warriors, Tatum can go off for 40 or whatever, and once in a blue moon, but he's not a fucking superstar. He's an all-star. But you got Curry's a superstar to go off for a ton. Klay Thompson to go off for a ton. I mean, fucking Jordan Poole suddenly. I mean, he's about as good as Jason Tatum is these days. Who's fucking Tatum?
All right, I think that's what a spot to end.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Tatum. You can't just put in your measly little 25 points, expect everybody else to dump in a bunch for you, like you did against the Bucks and Miami with half their team. So yeah, I think Warriors probably in 5. So
see,
yeah,
Pat, that's an interesting point. And if I can just talk about that for a second, Mike Free shows up out of nowhere. Love you, Mike.
Well, love you, Mike. If you ever watch this bullshit, Mike comes on, does a history blockbuster. But yeah, that ends the live from Pittsburgh show here tonight, guys. It was fun. I'll be in Pittsburgh for another week. We'll be back in my usual spot next Wednesday or Thursday. Not sure what night we'll do it next week, but we'll be back next week from the usual spot in downtown Deer Lodge. But peace out, everybody, and just remember, aliens are real, and Joe Biden is responsible for the gas prices.
See you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.